A betrayed Hollywood actor wanders the streets of New York City, exhausted and broken, until a young actor's studio student saves him from a speeding car. A simple coffee turns into a string of dates, and for a moment he thinks the city has given him a second chance. But the more time he spends with her, the more he notices strange patterns, intense attention, sudden mood shifts, and a growing obsession that doesn't feel like love. When he tries to walk away, the situation turns dangerous, and the bright, crowded streets of Manhattan and Central Park start to feel like a trap. Chapter 1. The night I stopped being a star. I was 33, famous, and supposed to be untouchable. That night in my New York hotel room, the city glittered outside the window like it was performing for me. But my phone screen told a different story. Messages. Photos. The kind of proof you can't argue with. My girlfriend hadn't just lied. She had built a second life behind my back, and I had been the last person to know that I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went quiet, like someone turned off the sound inside my head that I left the hotel without a plan. No driver. No security. I walked because standing still felt like drowning. The sidewalks of Manhattan carried me forward, block after block, past late-night pizza places, closed boutiques, and bars full of laughter that didn't belong to me. At a T1 crosswalk I stopped, staring at the red hand blinking "Don't walk" like it was speaking directly to my chest. My mind drifted, and my feet moved anyway. A horn screamed. Headlights swallowed me. I felt a grip clamp onto my sleeve and yanked me back so hard my shoulder burned. A car tore through the crosswalk, so close I felt the wind of it slap my face that I stumbled onto the curb, heart hammering. A young woman stood beside me, breathing fast. "Are you trying to get killed?" she asked. Her voice wasn't judgmental. It was scared, like she'd just watched a stranger fall off a cliff and managed to grab his hand. That I managed to speak. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. She looked at me more closely, and I saw recognition flicker across her face. Not fan-squealing recognition. Something sharper, like she'd placed me in a scene she knew by heart. "You're him," she said quietly. "The actor." I nodded, and it felt pathetic, like admitting I was a costume with nothing inside. "I'm studying acting," she said. "Actor's studio. I'm not going to bother you. You looked lost." Lost. That word fit too well. "Can I buy you a coffee?" I asked, surprising myself. "To say thank you." She studied me for a second, then nodded. "Okay." Chapter 2. Coffee that tasted like safety. The coffee shop was warm and small, the kind of place that made Manhattan feel human. The barista, a middle-aged guy with tired eyes, slid 2 cups across the counter and watched us like he was trying to figure out if I was trouble. We sat in a booth by the window. The woman told me she was 24. She talked about classes, scene work, breath control, and the strange hunger that comes with wanting to be seen. I told her almost nothing. I didn't say why I was out walking like a ghost. I just listened, grateful that her words filled the silence where my thoughts had turned ugly. What struck me wasn't her beauty, though she had that too. It was her focus. When she looked at me, it felt like the rest of the world had been edited out. Like I was the only thing on her stage. When we parted, she didn't ask for a selfie. She didn't ask for money. She just said, "Be careful crossing streets," and walked away. That should have been the end. But the next day she texted me. I didn't remember giving her my number, and when I asked, she smiled through the phone like she could see me. "You left your contact open when you paid," she wrote. It was right there. A normal explanation. Almost that I told myself it was nothing. I told myself it was a harmless New York coincidence that we met again. Then again that we went to quiet diners, small galleries, late movies where nobody paid attention to the fact that I was supposed to be recognizable. Around her, I felt less like a headline and more like a man. And yet, little things started catching in my mind like splinters. She repeated phrases I'd said days earlier, word for word, like she'd rehearsed them. She knew where I would be before I told her. She'd ask questions that felt less like curiosity and more like an audition. "When you're scared, where do you feel it first?" "In your throat." "Your hands." One night she touched my wrist and said softly, "Your pulse is faster when you lie." I laughed it off, but I didn't sleep well after that. Chapter 3. Strange Patterns. The city started to feel crowded in a new way. I'd look up from a sidewalk and catch her across the street, standing too still, as if she'd been placed there. When I approached, she'd smile and act like it was chance. My manager, a woman named Claire, flew in from Los Angeles for meetings. She took one look at me and said, "You look wrecked." I told her the clean version: breakup, stress, insomnia. Then I told her about the acting student, about how she showed up too often, about the way her attention felt like a hand around my throat. Claire didn't laugh. "That's not a date," she said. "That's surveillance." I tried to confront the problem like an adult. I texted the young woman and asked for space. Her response came instantly. "You're tired," she wrote. "You don't mean that." The next message: "I can help you." Then, "I saved you." My phone lit up with call after call. When I blocked her number, new numbers appeared. Unknown. Private. No caller ID. I stopped taking meetings alone. I had hotel staff walk me to the elevator. I avoided the same routes. One night, I stood at my apartment window and saw her below, staring up at the building like she knew exactly where I was. I pulled the curtain shut and realized my hands were shaking. The next morning, I went to the police with Claire. I explained the near-constant calls, the showing up, the feeling of being hunted. The officer's face was calm in the way calm can feel like a wall. "Has she assaulted you?" he asked. "Not yet," I said. "Any direct threats that we can document?" He asked. I showed them messages. They were creepy, but not explicit. Not enough for paperwork to turn into action. "We can't do much without evidence of a crime," the officer said. When we left the station, Claire said, "So we wait until she hurts you?" I didn't answer, because the truth was I didn't know what else to do. Chapter 4. The Knife. I decided to end it in person. Clean and final. No mixed signals. That we met outside a restaurant. I kept my voice steady and said the simplest words. "I don't want to see you anymore." At first she just blinked, like she didn't understand the language. Then her face changed. The smile vanished. Her eyes went hard and bright. "No," she said, and it wasn't a request. It was a rule. "I'm sorry," I told her. "This isn't healthy." She stepped closer. "You don't get to leave the scene before I'm done." The way she said scene sent a chill through me. Like my life was something she owned. I backed away and turned toward the street, intending to disappear into the crowd. Behind me, her voice cracked. "After everything, you're going to replace me?" I didn't respond. I walked faster. That's when I heard footsteps, rapid, uneven, and the scrape of something against fabric. I spun around just as she lunged. A knife flashed under the streetlight. My body moved before my mind did. I slammed into the restaurant doorway, stumbled inside, and shoved through people who shouted in surprise. Chairs toppled. Someone screamed. The knife didn't touch me, but I felt its promise like heat. I burst out the back, ran until my lungs tore, and didn't stop until I reached a lit avenue crowded with strangers. I called the police. My voice sounded like someone else's. When they arrived, she was gone. Again, no arrest. No weapon recovered. No blood. No clean evidence. A report, a sympathetic shrug, and advice to stay vigilant. That night I sat on my bed staring at the door, listening to every sound in the hallway like it was her breathing. Chapter 5. The Harassment. After the knife, she didn't disappear. She multiplied. Calls came at all hours. Voicemails filled with whispers, then sobbing, then laughter that turned my stomach. Messages arrived from accounts with no photos, no friends, just words. "I see you. Don't make me. We're not finished." She followed me. I'd catch her reflection in dark windows. I'd see her in the background of a crowd and feel my heart drop like an elevator cable snapped. I changed hotels. She found me. I changed routines. She adapted. I started to understand something awful. She wasn't just angry. She was living in a story that didn't match reality, and in her story I had a role I couldn't quit. Claire begged me to hire full-time security. I did for public events. But there were still moments when I was alone, moments that belonged to normal life. Moments I used to take for granted. I bought a gun after the knife attack. I hated myself for it, for how it made the world feel darker and more permanent. But I hated the feeling of being helpless more. I told myself it was just insurance. Something I'd never use. Then one morning, desperate for air and movement, I went for a run in Central Park. Full daylight. People everywhere remembered how to be human. Joggers, dog walkers, cyclists, tourists taking photos. I thought daylight would keep me safe. I was wrong. Chapter 6. Full daylight. The first sign was silence inside my own head. The kind that comes right before your instincts start screaming. I was halfway down a path when I noticed people looking past me, faces tightening, phones lifting like they were about to capture something. I pulled out an earbud and heard shouting. Then I saw her. She came out from between the trees like she'd been waiting there for hours, like she'd grown from the park itself. Her eyes were wide and unreal. In both hands she held a huge machete, the metal bright in the sun. For a second my body locked up, refusing to accept that something so insane could happen in public, at noon, in one of the most famous parks in the world. She screamed my name. People scattered. Some ran. Some froze. And too many raised their phones, recording like it was a movie and not a murder about to happen. I backed away, palms out. "Stop," I said. "Put it down." She shook her head fast, almost childlike. "You're not listening to the script." She charged. The machete cut the air with a sound I'll never forget. Not loud, just final. I ran, then turned sharply, trying to put distance and people between us, but she kept coming, wild and focused. Like pain and fear didn't exist for her. I felt the gun against my body, heavy as guilt. Another swing came close enough that I felt wind on my cheek. I stumbled, caught myself, and realized I had no more space to retreat. I drew the weapon with shaking hands. My vision narrowed, my hearing filled with the roar of blood. She raised the machete again. I fired. The sound cracked through the bright day, impossible and loud. People screamed. Phones kept recording. She faltered, the machete slipping from her fingers, and collapsed onto the path. Everything stopped at once, like the park itself held its breath. I stood there shaking, staring at what I'd done, my mind trying to leave my body because it couldn't live inside that moment. Sirens approached, growing louder. Claire arrived later, her face pale, eyes wet, and she wrapped her arms around me, like she could keep me from breaking apart. I didn't feel like a star. I didn't feel like a man who'd won. I felt like someone who survived a nightmare in front of an audience that would replay it forever. If you made it to the end, subscribe to the channel for more scary stories. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. Hit like if this story kept you tense, comment what you would have done in his place, and share this video with someone who loves dark New York City thrillers.